pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, sir. All right, approval of minutes. Everybody have a chance to look at the minutes? Any issues?
Nope.
Minutes are approved. Visitors' comments. If anybody has anything to say that's not on the agenda, now would be the time. Generally, anybody that comes up, please state your name and address for the record. Item 1, discuss and consider and take action on final review of the replat of the residents at Lakewood Manor filed on October the 4th, 2022.
Doug Raisler with Baker and Olson. This is the Weisach project that's going on. This is a simple replat. When we originally platted it down on the south, oh, where's my pointer? Let's see, we got a button here. It's working. Down here, we had 30-foot building setback lines, but in the PUD agreement, everything is 25, so we just changed this area to 25-foot building setbacks up front. And then there were, back, if y'all remember in the old days, there were a lot of duplexes out here. It had a lot of fingerlings of electrical easements that they've abandoned. Now, CenterPoint has a, I don't know what it's called. It's all-encompassing easement that they'll figure out something. But anyway, those have all been abandoned. So basically, the replat is to make this area a 25-foot building setback and do away with some electrical easements that were in there. Very simple.
Sal, anything?
No, and that's about the extent of that, this replat. The fact was that because of the encroachments, we somewhat put a stay on the permitting of some of those. But once that was cleared by this board, we went ahead and issued those permits with the conditions that they come back at the same time or in a very short period to correct that, so there won't be any more encroachments as the work progresses.
John?
Nothing.
Nothing.
Okay.
No, thanks.
Do we have a motion?
I move to approve for final review of the replat of the residents at Lakewood Manor filed on October 4th, 2022.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Any more discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right. Next item, discuss and take action on final review of plat of Northwood subdivision section 4 filed on October 4, 2022.
All right, this is section 4. The final plat. We've got design drawings completed. There's plans to excavate some more volume out of this lake. I don't know how much detail I need to go to.
Let's not go just.
Okay. Well, basically, we have this Reg and Reg Applin and John Weaver want to dedicate that to the city. This, I think, is a 40-foot strip. I'm not sure what it is for a park, but the city said no, we don't want it. So their HOA will take care of that. Any of the reserves, drainage reserves, et cetera, the HOA will handle, or the lake. I don't know what's that called?
So the lake owners.
Lake Association will take care of any reserves. So basically, these are all 70-foot wide plus lots up here. And we're just extending the roads up. So that's pretty much it.
Let me give you a better detail on the subdivision. The main reason for this subdivision coming now, we have received the subdivision plans that we are in the process of reviewing. That's gonna take a little bit more time, especially the drainage component of this particular subdivision because of the sensitivity of this area. You remember how that thing goes during the last floods. So it's gonna undergo the scrutiny that Mr. Sanchez usually goes through on these type of developments here. But the plat itself had to come in here because it so happens that the developer moved ahead of the game here and went out and took some of those trees out, took all the trees out. That's and for him to, first of all, proceed with the actual burning, he is gonna have to acquire a permit from the city or from the council. The ordinance reads that that can't happen unless the property was properly platted. And this is the reason why it's being platted. So with that in hand, then it goes before the council can then, impose whatever conditions they want to have on the development. So this is basically what it amounts to. This is a plat, details of this particular plat. He covered some of those. In most cases, these lots are fairly a larger size than what you would expect in the future, I guess, in this whole area or anywhere for that matter. In the Houston metropolitan area, this is typically 80 to 90-foot lots. And the depth of these range from 120 to 150, 170 foot, some of those lots at the, around that lake. So, like I said, these are probably gonna be some of the very last larger lots that come into the market in this area anyway. They're gonna command, I imagine, a hefty price, given the fact that not only the land is right, but the quality, the infrastructure that's gonna be put in there is gonna be very expensive to develop. They, like he said, they are following the same pattern that they did in the previous phases of Northwood. They have this particular detention facility for primarily the storm top events there. They're also providing a 10-acre reserve, which is satellite offsite this particular tract, that is gonna be for mitigation purposes to complete the mitigation requirement that the new base flood maps have. So that's the way that they are complying with that requirement. Like I said, it's in the process of being evaluated by Felsen, and we'll give them their final review notes, depending on whether or not it passes muster.
Yeah, very, very quickly. We're filling, because the new flood maps came out, and the flood went up 2 feet. So we have to fill this whole area. To mitigate the fill, the 10 acres is dug out, and that's gonna mitigate the fill. That's what that's about. It's off-site, it's up north, but it's part of the project that Thelston's gonna be reviewing.
Yeah, one of the conditions associated with, that have been assessed in the past was a hike, call it a hike and bike, that was gonna go all the way through this particular development, Northwood, up and into the linear park that was approved or that was accepted by the city in years back. There is a linear park that runs congruently with the transmission line on the north side of the area. It's
further up. Yeah.
One of the conditions that was imposed by the planners in the past was that this trail was gonna be taken off of that way, or now Deerwood, and continued all the way down to the upper reaches of this subdivision, and then proceed beyond that to this particular linear park. That is a requirement that has been already imposed, has been already set for them, so I think this is gonna have to be part of the infrastructure civil plans that we're reviewing. They will be dedicating a meets and bounds easement, because that's not gonna be subdivided with this plat, so it's gonna have to go as an easement dedication by meets and bounds. Along with this thing, there's also a meets and bounds dedication of a force main on the north boundary that
There.
you said you have right there, that will now take the force main that is gonna be serving this subdivision. There is a little bit wider area you see on the center of that particular,
Yeah,
start
right there.
of that particular area. That is for the lift station that's gonna be installed there, that will then take the wastewater by force main all the way across the highway into the system of the Alden Dow system that's already installed in the west side of, 288. That was one of the agreements that we had during the discussions that the PID was being talked with Reg, because the lift station that right now serves lift station 14, the other remaining portion of Northwood, wasn't able to take in this additional load from this 100 and some odd lots. So one of the conditions was, that was put into, along with the hike and bike, was that, and it's part of the PID, that this force main was gonna have to be installed by the developer, and, which is what's being done now. The only other thing was the fact that they were trying, that Reg had been trying to, on this particular 40-foot strip, as
Over to the west side,
on
Eddie.
the west side,
That strip.
that strip there, and he wanted the city to take over that as maintenance. The city originally back in at the original deal, and nixed that idea. They didn't want to take that as part of the maintenance system that we don't have really. And therefore, we did not accept that, and that was the same thing. That same orders were given to Reg during the PID discussion, that, that we weren't really, really wanting to take this over again. So now it's gonna be dedicated to the homeowners association for them to maintain, and God only knows whether, we don't know whether or not it's been officially accepted or not. But whatever it is.
Well, I mean, Reg and them know it's theirs,
Yeah, Reg knows that it's theirs, correct.
Yeah.
Yes.
so.
So whether they have to come back in there and replat those lots.
Yeah,
and
I
go all
don't
the
know,
way
yeah,
across.
there's a chance they may replat the lots,
Yeah.
so that this lot will take care of that little area, this
Correct.
lot will take it.
So that
we'll
everyone
see,
is
but
responsible
We
for
just,
their own.
we're trying to get it to where they can go burn and move forward and so.
So that basically deepen those lots to take it
Yes,
out
sir,
to
I-
the,
Take
that
that
may
in.
happen, they're not
Yeah.
sure what they want.
The reason why the city objected to taking that in is, first of all, Reg wanted to keep that supposedly in a natural stage, so could serve as a buffer against the sound and view of the
Yeah.
highway. The problem with that one is that is also utility easement, that the center point is gonna be using and wanting to, to go through through that easement in order to service those properties, so it would have been chopped up so many times. And that's what the city just didn't want to have to take over, so that was the main thing.
so will there be on the dark line there, is that gonna be fenced? Will be a
Yes,
fence there?
they'll have the same fence continued up from what they
Well,
have.
we don't
From the
know.
other one.
We don't know.
Well, it depends where this property, it'll either be a fence here, or they'll have a fence here, depending what they decide to do with those lots. But the fence is kind of the sound buffer to some extent.
Yeah, because Pat, to the left of the dark line, there's still grass there before you
Yes,
get to the highway.
that's
right?
the 288 right of way out
Okay.
there, yeah. And it's a pretty wide area to
Yeah.
get to the highway. It starts narrowing down north of there, but it's pretty
Okay.
wide in this area.
So as far as for content, format, and with, it does comply with our planning requirements, for planning. So, we are filing this for final approval for you.
John, anything else?
So, well, I just one more question. What happens if he decides to deepen those lots? We have to come back and
We'll just file a replat.
file a replat on that then? Okay.
It doesn't change much but lot lines,
Yeah.
basically.
So,
Jeff?
But they haven't
Nothing.
decided what they want to do.
Okay. We have a motion?
yeah, I move to to approve action on final review of the plat of Northwood subdivision, Section 4, filed on October 4th, 2022.
We have a motion, we have a second?
Second.
We have a second. Any more discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Next item,
I'm gonna make a mad dash to College Station.
be careful.
I'm flying to Alabama this weekend. Last time I was there, we got beat 56-0.
I guess you didn't
I
go to
think it'll be
Mississippi,
56-0 again.
did you? You didn't go to-
Y'all have a good evening. Thank
Doug,
y'all.
you didn't go to
Drive
Mississippi, did
safely.
You did.
you? You did? Bad penny there. Discuss and take action on preliminary and final review of amendment plat of Lot 1 of the H. Blunt subdivision recorded in Volume 5, page 165, and Lot 1 of the H. Blunt subdivision recorded in Volume 5, page 3, filed on October 4th, 2022.
Okay, the surveyor and the owner of the property aren't here. I told them that I would carry that one for them, because it is a simple flat amendment. What they're doing is they're taking in what amounts to be two lots that are in different subdivisions for that matter. That's the reason why you see that different spelling on the reading of that particular item there. One was spelled at one time Blunt without a C, and the other one was a C. So, but what amounts to is this, that line that you see there, that is a faint line, dash line there, is the existing lot lines between those two lots. They are trying to now combine it into one lot, into this particular L type of lot, for whatever building purposes they are planning on doing. And that's one of the requirements that the city has. You can't build an improvement over a line, so therein lies the replat reason for this particular item. Everything else complies with the planning format and the content, so.
Yeah,
Nothing.
Terry? Okay. Do we have a motion?
I make a motion, we approve the preliminary and final review of the amendment plat of Lot 1 of the H. Blanc subdivision recorded in Volume 5, page 165, and Lot 1 of the H. Blanc subdivision recorded in Volume 5, page 3, filed on October 4th, 2022.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Any more discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Next item, discuss and consider and take action on final review of replat of the Regal Storage subdivision at 125 Farm to Market 2004, filed on October 4, 2022.
I'm Joe McManus, 1053 FM 2004, Lake Jackson, 77566. I was in here a couple of months ago, and we basically went over the same thing on this replat. Sal, do you have anything to say about it?
Yes, this is because this is a development plat, or a plat for a development that is gonna follow after this particular item. They originally had the tract divided into 3 tracts, and now the new development or the expansion of this new development requires that they have a different configuration of property, and therefore it made it necessary for those lines to be changed to the new configuration. And in doing so, they created 3 lots, again, but in different shapes. The primary one being for this particular development that they're planning, and the other 2, one is a little strip that they now are gonna dedicate to Velasco Drainage District that was originally assigned and dedicated as an easement. Now they're gonna do a fee simple transfer of this particular tract for Velasco Drainage District use and maintenance. I think Velasco Drainage District's approved to that situation, so that will be going to them, or it's being dedicated to them. The remaining tract is at close to 3 point something, it's a 3 parcel acre that is gonna be done, is gonna be sometime in the future developed for whatever other purpose. Could be another expansion, or it could be just a totally different use. This time it has not been determined or planned. So this makes it now possible for the development to take place the way it's been planned. All content and all format is now, in agreement with the city ordinance planning requirements.
John?
No?
I don't have anything.
No.
Okay. Do we have a motion?
Sure, I move to approve the action on the final review of replat of Regal Storage subdivision at 125 FM 2004, filed on October 4th, 2022.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a second. Any more discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right. Moving down the same property, review of site plan amendment of Regal Storage Expansion Phase 2 at 125 Arnold Market 2004, filed on October 4th, 2022.
And Sal, this is where you're talking about the 3 different lots?
No, now you're talking about your development.
Oh, we're expanding the Regal Storage where the old bowling alley used to be. And we're going to put 3 more buildings of regular storage and then a building for boats and RVs. The 3 buildings will be the duplicate of the buildings behind Target now. That, where I expanded that Regal Storage at 1053 FM 2004. I did an expansion there of 3 8,000 square foot buildings. And that's exactly what we're going to do now, is we're going to put 3 8,000 square foot buildings and then the extra building for a little bit of the boat and RV. And this is going to be behind, way back there. I don't even think you'll be able to see this stuff from the road. And that's it.
Yes, this is, like he said, an expansion, continuation of the storage area that he has already, constructed and operating. And this is towards the very back end of that particular track, so you won't be able to see anything from the road. But they are now having to, because this property now has changed in the FEMA mapping, in the new FEMA mapping. Originally, it was just a Zone X, as a matter of fact, and had requirements of primarily just a flood control condition. But during the course of this new development, it got changed into Zone AE, which now impose a lot more conditions on this development area. So it made it a little bit more difficult for Mr. McManus, and he was able to go through the pain of this particular deal. Not only was he required that he have a larger size of a retainage type condition. Primarily it's the retainage, isn't it? Detention type condition. But also he had to also supplement that for his mitigation for all the buildup he is going to be required to do in order to get those structures up to what the safe base flood elevation is for that area. So he is following suit with what he did in the past. I think you put in elevation, final elevation 16 on your finished floors, if I'm not mistaken, to that thing. Which, you know, if you remember during the floods, that saved, he was the only one out there that was saved from any.
Yeah, we didn't have any water.
Correct.
Yeah.
So he's just, like I said, following along the same lines.
We brought in 2,400 trucks of dirt.
2,400?
Uh-huh.
And,
That's serious.
so I'm sure that he's gonna be making some of that, you know, taking some of that dirt that he's gonna be excavating there and using it for his fill. But I don't know whether he's balanced or not, whether he's gonna have to bring some more out of it or not. Now, one of the conditions that was imposed by the floodplain administrator was that this particular, you see that particular body of detention there in the lower portion there? that
Yep.
Weird looking deal. That will only serve those, that particular development the way it is, it will not be serving the remaining tract, the future tract. The future tract will, you know, depending on what happens there, what type of development takes place, you know, we'll have to, you know, modify that particular body of water or have its own different one.
Okay.
And it is indicated in the plans as that, you see that note right there on future development up there, on that red markings that say, the mitigation will have to be taken care of at a future date.
Okay.
There's not much room on that phase 3 for putting in the
Correct.
flood
Well,
detention.
That'll be the welcoming house for the water ski park.
Indeed. So, as far as the actual infrastructure for this new development, it all has, it's very, I mean, it's limited, really, it's not needed. They are providing the necessary fire protection. They are extending some of those water lines. Of course, they are providing their own internal drainage system in order to be able to catch the water from their improvements into the pond and then release it to the channel at the south side of the property. So as far as and they are complying with the fire marshal's requirements for fire lane and protection. So they're all complying with all those conditions there.
John, anything?
Nope.
Bill?
No, sir.
Terry?
No.
Okay. Do we have a motion?
I move to approve for final review of the site plan amendment of Regal Storage Expansion Phase 2 at 125 FM 2004, filed on October 4th, 2022.
We have a motion.
I
We have
second.
a second. Any more discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Same property landscape plan.
And property landscaping plan. This is, you know, Joe has really, I mean, if you go through his property, you see a very pleasant development. He really takes care of his properties. I don't think nobody has ever, you know, claimed anything differently than that. He is complying with all the conditions of requirements as far as the area, open area, the trees, and he has, you know, provided some trees along the border there that is gonna be fenced by a chain link fence all the way around his property. So there is really no problem associated. He makes full compliance with the rules. He does have an alternate plan because of that was originally approved back in the first phase, and that was that he didn't need any sprinkling, any automatic sprinkler system, and that a hose bib type of irrigation system would suffice. He has proven that as being adequate and proper, and he is just continuing on with that vein. There's also, I can't remember what the other item concerning the, I don't think there was any other alternate, any other reason for that, so, oh, yes. The other thing was the fact that he was originally allowed to continue without a tree survey, and he is following suit on the same thing because he is raising the property all the way up, so nothing's gonna survive, so that was another allowance that was given him at the first phase, which is now being also extended to this.
John?
I don't have anything.
I don't have any problems. Our acquiescence on the tree survey, because he was raising it up, turned out to be fortuitous and needed, and that's why when you went by it, they survived. So I think it's fine.
You're gonna have to rent a storage unit to enjoy the trees.
A two-story one.
They're all where you can't see them.
Management's pretty nice up there.
Yeah, it's done well.
Anything else, Kate?
Oh, thank you.
We have a motion?
I move to approve for final review on the alternate landscape plan of Regal Storage Center expansion at 125 FM 2004, filed on October 4th, 2022.
We have a motion, we have a second.
Second?
We have a second. Any more discussion?
No.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you, Joe.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, we're gonna have documents to sign, is that right?
Yes, sir, I believe we do.
All right, items of community interest. John?
I don't have anything this time.
Jeff?
I got asked how they're gonna do Festival of Lights with everything going on downtown. I said, I don't know, they'll figure out a way. Somebody, one of my neighbors, because their grandchildren are coming in.
Somebody's gonna speak to that.
Eddie has promised that Circle Way will be open. So the parade route will not be altered, so I'm gonna hold him to it.
All right, Eddie.
Well, what's going, I mean, I know it's a mess, but you're doing the best you can in the situation, though it looks good. I said, I think there's enough that they could get.
Yeah, they'll
things going
button,
there.
the plan is to button that up to get that portion of Circle Way that they're done. And then they'll move to the next phase, which is, that way.
That way.
Stuff. So, again, cleaning up enough to, we've got a car show coming up on November 5th, and then Divas coming up on November 7th. We're
Oh,
trying to get
yeah.
out of that for the Christmas season, so, and then the Festival of Lights.
Okay, thank you, I appreciate
Y'all
it.
are adjusting for the business people down there, so you're not working any during December or something?
It is murder.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's why you get paid the big bucks.
We're working over towards the doctor's offices and the vet clinic to get away from the
Yeah.
little boutiques.
good.
Eddie takes all the heat, and he's been able to withstand all that heat. I couldn't, but he can.
That's why he's going.
It's for the
right-
young. I don't take it anymore either.
Harry? David, what you got?
Nothing.
Any new businesses, David?
But I didn't see that on the agenda.
It doesn't make any difference, this community interest, sir.
Marco's Pizza's gonna open on Monday, so that'll be fun. I think that's it. Oh, Lakewood Manor did, we did issue 16 permits for Lakewood Manor. Those were not affected by the work that you approved tonight.
Okay.
Is McAllister's open?
Those are
Oh, yeah. Oh, no, that's October 6th, I think.
okay.
That's what the scoop said, October 6th.
Oh.
He was sending people, because he saw people going in and out, and they said, we're closed.
Okay.
Thank you, David. Vinay?
Just have one thing, I had asked Terry to look at the ordinance for tree ordinance on Lake Jackson about clear cutting the trees. And the fine is $500, so a builder can go and clear the lot and just pay $500 and be done,
No matter how many trees?
no matter how many trees. So I've asked her to review that, and any suggestions that you guys have, please communicate with her, because she's working on the amendment to that, to perhaps X amount of dollars per tree or a flat rate or something to prevent from builders going in and clearing out the land without proper permits and authorizations.
Might be good to have her come next month and.
I just don't want to continue, delaying it. Perhaps, yeah, we can do that as well. But in the meantime, she's working on the ordinance change.
Maybe she would consider looking at it by so many square feet,
Right, per tree.
rather than per
basis.
tree, but, because then we'd have to go back and count what isn't there anymore. So if you do it cleared by square foot of land,
Yeah,
that might be a
any
better way to
input
do
you
it.
guys have, please share with her, so we want to make sure we take care of this properly.
okay.
Because right now, it's ridiculous, $500, and,
Yeah.
There's no pain, no gain, so.
I appreciate you working on that.
Yeah, really, it's good.
Thank you, Modesto,
Yes, sir.
what new? You spend on David? Or Milford, I should say.
Trying to invent something?
Yeah, I mean, I really don't have, I wish I had an update, other than Festival Lights is coming, and, I think we've got a couple of other events like cleanup, stuff, but,
Shredding day is Saturday, so if you guys got stuff to shred,
Rec Center?
it'll be at the rec center.
Rec Center.
Make sure you get there early, because the trucks fill up, the 2 trucks, when they fill up, they're done, so.
Mm.
Also, today's the
National Night Out, yeah.
So if you get through here or wanna go for the debate, it's Maclean Park.
Give them any updates on anything?
You guys want an update on anything? Okay.
Thelston Herrera?
Downtown is my main project. That's where I spend most of my day. Like Modesto said, we've taken some precautions there to make sure that we don't get in a bind where we can't button up Circle Way and get out of there, if they can't get it finished before. We're not gonna open it up all the way. We're gonna
Right.
do it in small sections, and so we can just tidy it up and get out of there and let the parade go by and come back in January. Lakewood Manor is doing good. They're doing their driveway tie-ins. They've got 2 slabs poured, I believe, and they're working on 6 more. By the end of the month, they said they're gonna be done with everything David's given them a permit on already. They're another one that is all gung-ho and gonna start laying and have all their subcontractors right in a row, and they'll be in and out of there in a year, but they don't always work out that way. Speaking of which, Plantation Villas has started going up higher, at least in the front. Don't look in the back, because those aren't going up as fast. I don't know why, but the front buildings are, so it's looking better. Don't really have much else. I mean, everything else, it's kind of slowed down. We've got some interest in some of the little pieces of property that always have interest. Brazoria County Work Center property, people are looking at it again, wanting to bring something in that they're not talking about yet. And the tomato patch, again, there's a resident interested in that now, and perhaps building a single-family residence, a large single-family residence, but it's something new that we haven't looked at, and brings up the whole interconnection street issue, and if that moves forward, that'll be coming to you for a whole nother discussion on that. But not a lot else.
I'm glad you brought that up, Eddie. The fellow that is interested in just building one house for his own. I don't know where he gets his money, but whatever it is, he is gonna try, and he was asking me to include him, and I haven't talked with our city manager concerning our next step, whether it's gonna go before council or whether it's gonna go before you. I still haven't decided, because he's wanted to come in here and try to get whoever to agree that he can just connect the driveway to one of the ends of Chestnut. Only a private drive. so that he doesn't have to go in there and connect the street as it has been discussed, you know, ever since I got here, which has been a long time, where the street had to be connected, but because the development is not gonna be but only one, he's asking, is it really necessary, or can I just put in a driveway going all the way in? It's gonna come back to us, but we don't know where, how we're gonna handle that one, whether it's gonna come to you first and then go to council, or vice versa.
It was interesting, the development angled in the paper of 2,250 homes and gonna be lots of 50, 60, and 70 feet. And they're concerned about that. And, at this point in time, with great confidence, and then I was reminding my wife the 2 times they did all the engineering near the airport, so
Yeah.
you have no confidence it's really gonna work, but.
That was one, and the other thing, city manager didn't remember, but concerning Lakewood,
Oh, yeah, they do, on their request. They have a request to come back to council on this next coming agenda, asking for one, to possibly close the road during construction on Weisach. And then the other request is to put a entryway sign. The entryway sign would open up, I've told them, would open up the PUD, again, because signage was discussed a little bit, but there was a restriction put on it just for very minimal. And I guess the new manager, or, I don't know his role with the company, they want to ask for something larger at the entry on Weisach. But again, that would open the PUD. And so that's a discussion. The closing of the road right now we're taking traffic counts on that. I don't know what the effect would be, or a total closure. Sal's recommended a possibility of a partial closure and doing one way. So that'll be at the next council meeting. The other item out of Sally and Anna's office now, you probably have noticed, we've copied you all the agendas and notes. You don't have to read them. But we've had a couple of times where we've had citizens or board members say they weren't aware of something going on. So we've decided that
Make them aware.
we're gonna flood you with information, and so you'll know what happens at the Parks Board or the Dangerous Structures Board, and so that you'll be aware. But I mean, that's your call if you want to read that information. But we're gonna copy that to all the boards and commission members, because we feel that you are power citizens of the city. It's actually very helpful because people ask us about things that do not come before us, but I Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
can refer back. Yeah, we've kind of usually just kind of treated everybody in silos. And so it's probably nice to know what the other board and commission members are doing. So I think overall it'll be a good thing. We give you a lot of information.
All right. Sabrina, you stepped out when it was your turn. Anything?
I know, it was good timing. No, I don't have anything, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Sal, anything else? Anna, when's our next?
On Tuesday, November 8th.
So if we don't have it on the 1st, we go to the 8th. All right.
Tuesday.
Always an election night.
Everybody good for the 8th this year?
Let me double
so.
check, sorry. Oh, it is the
Why
first.
wouldn't it be the first?
First.
First,
Okay.
So it would be the second.
So it's still the 8th.
So it will be the first.
Council will get pushed to the first. What time?
Why?
Why?
No, it'll still be on.
It's not a holiday.
Oh, you're right. They're gonna have something.
Yeah.
Will be the next one.
Yeah,
So you'll be before council.
that's better.
The 8th.
Yeah, they can meet on
First.
Halloween, right?
Okay.
Sorry.
Are you working the election?
I don't work any elections. That's the good thing about being a judge. I have no opinions.
All right. We got stuff to sign. I guess it's all in the conference room. All right.
Yeah.
This meeting's adjourned. Thank you.